Welcome to a new video everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today we'll be taking a look at the beautiful aquascapes from Frank. Last November Frank asked me to help him set up his ADA 90P, and of course I couldn't say no to that. The hardscape was done a few weeks before that and consists of some really beautiful pieces of manzanita wood and Frodo stones. I joined in for the best part, adding the plants. We have a beautiful selection of tissue culture and potted plants, which were all provided by Denala Plants. Frank decided to go with some real classics like crypts, Java ferns and echinodoros. After the plants were prepared, it was time to drain the tank. The aquarium had been running for a few weeks without light, while Frank decided on which plants he was going to use. I'm a big fan of doing this because you can avoid those excessive water changes that are often necessary when using aquasoil. The first plant to go in is a beautiful echinodoros. Very soon the leaves of this plant will break the water surface and start growing out of the aquarium. Another focal point will be this Laganandra Meiboldii red, a beautiful plant that's not used very often. The rest of the substrate area will be planted with a variety of crypts, and if you want to know all the plants that we've used, I'll leave a list in the video description. On the branches of manzanita wood, Frank added some beautiful trident and Bolbitis ferns, as well as some patches of Taiwan moss. The last step was to add some smaller plants in and around the Frodo stones. Here Frank used small bush of Landera, small cryptocorynes and some Ricardia moss. That's the planting completed. Now let's take a look at the final result. As I've mentioned earlier, this was back in November 2021, so last weekend I went back to see how this aquascape developed since then. But first let me introduce you to the man behind the aquascape, Mr. Frankie Jones.
My name is Frank, also known from the Frankie Jones Instagram page. This is my 90P, I set it up last November. I have been scaping for almost 20 years. When I was 14, and I rebooted my love for aquascaping for I think 2 years now ago. As you can see, I'm using Frodo stone and the gnarled manzanita wood from Riverwood Aquatics from the UK. It's really hard to get by, and when I saw it on the website, I was instantly in love, so I just bought it. For the technical side on this 90P, I'm using the Skylight Series M. For me it was important because the couch on the other side of the camera that I don't look into the light, and the spotlights on this one are just perfectly aligned with not looking into the light. For filtration, I'm using a Biomaster 600. It's filled with a CTM Matrix and some Puridan. Also, I'm using CO2 with a regulator from CO2 Art and a reactor. I'm doing maintenance once a week, and of course the days when I see stuff floating around or not being good, I'm just diving in there. Once a week is fine. I'm doing a 50-45% water change. As you can see, the fish that I'm using are the Bentosi Whitefin. It's the main school in this scape. Also, there are some Apistogramma in the tank, and for the algae eaters I have the Cliton Corona shrimps and the Amano shrimps.
Besides the 90p, Frank has a few more very interesting displays, which I think you guys should see as well.
The first one is an ADA20C. The animals that are in it are the Neocaridina jade green. They're still a bit shy because they've just been released in the tank. And the tank is a little bit recovering from some replanting, so you can see some little brown stuff between it, but it's all restoring and recovering. So give it a few weeks and it will be a little green tank. The second is a Dua pond tank. Also used Denerla plants on this one and switched it up with some orchids. The creatures that are in it are some crystal black shrimps that are used to the tap water we use here. As you can see, the Rotala species are growing really nicely at the back and now crawling over my scape, and I'm just wondering if I should cut it out sooner or later because yeah, as you can see, it's going over it. This is a carnivorous pond, mainly filled with Utricularia and Drosera species. It's a really easy pond tank. I use just osmosis water in it because the plants don't really need the fertilizers. They cannot really thrive under it. And as you can see, this one is just a few months old and just growing really good. This is the Dua Terra 30. I already rescaped it like 3 times already. I have it almost like a year and a few months. This one has been planted in October. I used Denerla plants only on this one. At the back wall you can see the Christmas moss is thriving really good, and I mixed it up with a lot of Bucephalandra, some Anubia species, and the livestock in it is the Neocaridina orange sakura, and they're already breeding again in this tank and they're doing it really nicely. So